So I've manifested 1.6 billion views on YouTube, and today we're going to talk about how to manifest YouTube success. But first, some proof. So I've got 10,000 views on this channel that you're watching. I got 7 million views on this channel. I got 1.3 billion views on this channel. This was my first channel that I started when I was 16. I got 225 million views on this channel. The first video I posted on this channel, it's actually crazy. You got 77 million views and only posted like 14 videos in total. And on this channel, 78 million. So what we're gonna cover today is what manifestation actually is, and I'm gonna explain how it works in a logical way and a theoretical way, which I like more. For science, manifestation is not for you. A few insane moments that I manifested myself, and we're gonna go into the practical, so what actually worked for me, what did I do that got me results, some mistakes I made that slowed my growth, and then my current thoughts on manifestation. Do I actually believe it works? Do I think it's bullshit? We'll see. So what manifestation is and how it works. Well, I've heard a ton of different definitions of manifestation, and to me, the one that really seems the most true is making reality change by shifting your internal state. So I'll probably change that in the future, but that's what I feel right now. Some of them are too long. Neuro Knowledge has a good one, but I think his is a bit too long. It's internally shifting to a degree in which you are no longer emotionally dependent on seeing reality change. That's his definition. I like short definitions. So what it looks like is thinking I'm thirsty and walking over to get a glass of water. So you think, I'm thirsty. And then you go get a glass of water. So a lot of you think, no, that is not fucking manifestation. Just listen. What it does not look like is thinking I'm thirsty and it starts raining. What it does look like is thinking, I want to be rich. And then you start to take actions and say yes to different opportunities that pop up in your life. What it does not look like is thinking, I want to be rich, and then $1 million gets deposited into your bank account. That does not happen. What it does look like is spending real time and effort feeling into what the desired reality is like to you, consciously making decisions that that version of you would make, and being patient for the desired reality to materialize, to manifest, to see. What it does not look like is screaming, I'm rich at yourself in the mirror without feeling it, and then all of a sudden you're rich. So how does it work? Well, I've got a logical way of thinking about it and a theoretical way. We'll go with the logical way first. So it's not a big page. Spending more time thinking about a certain reality or identity makes your subconscious mind believe it. And that's because your mind can't tell the difference between reality versus imagination, which is proven through the placebo effect and other visualization studies. And you're then simply more likely to notice different opportunities, spot different paths that will take you closer to this reality, and make decisions that align with this new version of yourself, which over time takes you into this desired reality. And so it's essentially cause and effect. You think one thought, that leads to an action. You think the right thoughts, that's manifesting. You'll take the right actions, which creates the reality in itself. Now, I like this explanation. So we experience one reality within an infinite multiverse. And different emotions have different frequencies. An emotion is the language of reality or of the universe. Therefore, reality is determined by your internal state. So, in physics, two opposite frequencies will create destructive interference, canceling each other out. And this is how noise canceling headphones work. It's not just because their padding is good. If you ever hear, like you turn on a plane or something, you put your noise canceling headphones on, and there's some like weird frequency. I can't wear it for too long because it's like, it is sound. It's blasting frequency into your ears. And what it's doing is it's playing the opposite frequency at the same volume as the ones that are, outside. So it's picking it up with the mic and playing the exact opposite frequencies. And that's how it cancels out the sound. And so it doesn't work perfectly, but that's how noise canceling headphones work. And so as you see here, this is one wave. And then here is the exact opposite wave. So this is called a crest, and this is called a trough, I think. And so the crest here goes up, and the trough here is that. And then if you combine these, this is what it looks like. So they essentially cancel each other out. And so you can remove things from your reality by internally shifting to the opposite of the frequency that you want out of your life. And so it's often, we don't think, oh, I want this frequency out of my life. We think, I don't want to be broke. I don't want to have a small YouTube channel. I don't want to have a small penis. I don't want to be short. Unfortunately, you can't fix that. But what feeling, so here's an example. What feeling does being broke give me? If you are broke and you do not want to be broke, you got to think, what does it feel like to be broke? Well, maybe stress, maybe worry, maybe insecurity. And so then you want to feel relaxation. You want to feel trust. You want to feel confidence. You want to cultivate these feelings for at least a few seconds per day, especially when you feel extra stress. What you can do is feel the opposite of stress. And it's not like going to be an immediate fix. It's not going to be a permanent thing, but this is going to help over time shift your reality to the one that you actually want to live and remove these things from your current reality. So what feeling does my small YouTube channel give me? Well, maybe I feel like a loser. Maybe I feel behind. Maybe I feel invisible, like nobody knows me. Well, what is the opposite of these things? Well, maybe it's feeling worthy or like a winner. Maybe it's feeling ahead. Maybe it's feeling visible, seen, confident. And so, pro tip, cultivate these new feelings when you feel the old feelings creeping up on you, but don't expect an immediate or permanent shift. And pro tip number 2, if you can't just feel the feeling, visualize an experience that would give you that feeling. For example, if you're trying to feel, worthy or like a winner, picture yourself winning a race or high-fiving a friend after you hit 100,000 subscribers. Just picture this moment, what it would be like. And it's going to be hard to do this at first, but you kind of just need to do more and more over time. It's a skill like anything else. And so with the opposite, 2 similar frequencies, we just covered 2 opposite frequencies and how it creates a destructive interference. 2 similar frequencies will create a constructive interference, amplifying each other. And this is essentially how music works. You combine a ton of frequencies and some of them cause different emotions. Like, you ever think about why do a few sounds feel sad? Like, why do a few frequencies feel cheery, happy, hype, crazy, intense? Why do horror movies need soundtracks? Like, if a horror movie was silent, it wouldn't be scary. Because frequencies affect emotion, and frequencies, when combined together, create even stronger feelings. And so 2 of the same waves, where they have the same crest and the same trough, and they have the same exact frequency and wavelength. Wavelength is like the distance from this to this, and frequency is how many actual waves are there, how frequent is the thing. And so the crest will be higher and the troughs will be lower. So it's essentially just they amplify each other, they get bigger. And you can attract things into your reality by internally shifting to the exact frequency that you want in your life. And so how do you know what the exact frequency is? Well, you don't. But the reason you want anything is because you believe it will give you a feeling. And most people don't understand that. The only reason you want something is because you believe it's going to give you a feeling that you don't currently have. Even if it's logical, yes, we do need money to survive. We need, love. We need people around us. That makes life better. But it's a feeling that that's going to give you, that you believe it's going to give you. And so you need to do a bit of self-reflection and understand the feeling that you want, and then essentially just cultivate that. And so what does being rich feel like, for example? Well, maybe it feels like responsibility. This is the thing, like, being rich doesn't make you just feel free and powerful and almighty and whatever. It probably realistically makes you feel like you have a whole bunch of responsibility. And so then you got to think, well, what does that feel like? Well, maybe pressure, maybe a little bit of pride, maybe empowerment, maybe something else. Freedom, what does freedom really mean? What does it feel like? Break it down. Maybe kind of like relief, like, finally, I can do whatever. Relaxation. Autonomy. I get to decide how my life goes. Exhilaration. This is fucking lit. I can do anything. Yeah. So what does my big YouTube channel feel like? Well, maybe it feels like accomplishment, pride, confidence. I know personally it's given me a lot of confidence. It is proof that I can make something happen. And without that, it's really hard to operate in life. It's proof that I can get what I want. Social pressure. Obviously, it feels like pressure. Maybe a little bit of love, because it's the opposite of social pressure. But then again, responsibility. So break down, what do these feelings feel like? What does it feel like once you get what you want? And I like both explanations for the logical and the theoretical, but I definitely like the theoretical more. Does it help? Whatever the fuck motivates you to manifest, go for it, bro. So here are 4 signs manifestation is not for you. And the thing is, if you're still watching this, you're probably at least a little interested, and so it probably is for you if you're, let's see, 10 minutes into the video. But 4 signs that it's not for you is you prefer to live in a world that you can see and touch. You don't find theoretical concepts or abstract ideas interesting at all. There's nothing wrong with that. You do you. You don't believe anything outside of what you can see and touch. You believe you're already performing at your highest potential, which, by the way, you probably, most likely, definitely 100,000% are not. And you believe you know everything it will take to make progress. And so it's essentially just time and execution in between you and what you want. There's no faster way. There's no better idea. There's no opportunities that could take you to where you want faster. There's nothing. It's just you who's already operating at maximum potential and time. So if you believe those things, the manifestation is not for you. Now, here's a few insane moments I manifested. So first, YouTube. I started YouTube when I was 16, May of 2020, and I wasn't taking it very seriously at first, but then I just started making more and more videos because I noticed some videos got more views than others, and I just got obsessed with like finding patterns, what actually affects the views. And I got obsessed. It felt like a video game. Like I was getting really good at a video game, and it was super fun. And I remember someone named like Slenix or something. Shout out you, bro. You changed my life. You set me on a trajectory. Some like 13-year-old kid that reached out to me and was like, yo, let me make some of your thumbnails. And like the first one or one of them that he made for me got like 2,000 views in a day or something. I was like, holy shit. And then it ended up getting like 10K views or something. And so I was like, okay, I got to do more thumbnails like that, more titles like that. And so he accelerated my progress. This kid popped up into my life and accelerated my progress. And then eventually it kind of went downhill again. But then all of a sudden I woke up with a video that had like 2K views. So it was a 1 out of 10. YouTube studios popping with fucking confetti. And that was awesome. And really soon after that, I ended up getting monetized. The first time I applied for monetization, I got, and here's a picture of it. So 1,760 subscribers. I applied for monetization. I got rejected the first time. That happens with every Geometry Dash YouTuber because everybody's playing the same levels and YouTube thinks that it's repeated content, but it's not. And then I got monetized. I started making 10, 5, 15, 20 bucks a day. That was insane. And then I just kept setting bigger and bigger goals. Here's a picture of me when I hit 20K subs on my 20th birthday. My mom took my picture while I'm here slouching in my chair. I got a cat. I got some cat toys on my desk. Hell yeah. I got my Razer Viper or something. My old, okay, I'm just analyzing this because I haven't looked at it in a while. Anyways, and then I just kept setting bigger and bigger and bigger goals. I wanted to put the small moments here because they're cool. But obviously, other things have happened since then. Not just 20K subscribers, but 100K on 3 different channels and 1 million on one channel. So that's cool. Ow, fuck. Okay, gotta make sure my mic is out. And now another moment was college. So I got into every single college that I applied to, which I feel like was pretty lucky. So my number one choice was Cal Poly. And here's a picture of me with my friend who went to Cal Poly. He graduated last year. Shout out Cooper. So I visited him and I was like, this is the fucking place. This is sick. I hope I get in. I ended up getting in and I got into every place. And the reason I included this isn't just because it's something I wanted, but it's because it's something I intentionally tried to manifest. I wanted to get into these colleges. I never thought, I'd get into every college I applied to, but especially this one. I was like, it's really hard to get into their like physics program. And I did, which is cool. And then I decided not to go, which was even cooler. Now, Paris. So my girlfriend and I met when I was on my gap year. So I was taking a year in between high school and college to see if I could, how far I could take this YouTube thing. And we were planning to break up because she was going to go to college in Paris to study fashion and business, and I was going to go to college. I ended up deciding on San Diego State because Cal Poly wouldn't let me have a gap year. So I was going to go to San Diego State, study physics or entrepreneurship or some shit. And we joked about like, what if I just blow up my fucking YouTube channel and I come with you to Paris instead? Like, yeah, that's crazy. It's a fucking insane, wild idea. That's never gonna happen. There was so much friction in the way of that happening. It's not just like a decision. It's not just a plane ticket. So much had to happen. But I realized, well, everything else I've wanted in my life, I've got by doing one thing, by starting to visualize it and by believing it's true. And so I just visualized it every night. And I visualized looking out of the window and seeing the Eiffel Tower. And that didn't happen. I couldn't see the fucking Eiffel Tower from my window. I don't know what I was thinking. Live in some fucking $30K a month apartment with like an Eiffel Tower view. Nope. But I ended up going to Paris and living there for 3 months with her. And that was insane. It was surreal living in Paris and making $15K a month by, being a YouTuber. It was a crazy experience. Yeah, that was probably like the peak of like, holy shit, how is life even real right now? Then the school games. So my biggest goal in 2024 was to win the school games. And I spent so much fucking time trying to, manifest it. So I wrote about it and visualized it hundreds of times. And then I won all of a sudden. And it basically came out of nowhere. I was not planning to win that month. I had just stopped doing my geometry dash thing. And someone reached out to me. And I was helping him with thumbnails, and then he was like, what are your goals? And I was like, I want to win the school games. And then he's like, bet, let me help you come up with an offer. Here, offer this, sell it for $9.99. Let me help you. And he got me my first 5 clients by just reaching out to his network. And one of those clients let me run a few webinars in his group, which got me 20 more clients. And then because I was so high on the school games leaderboard, I got a bunch of traffic to my profile, which then they saw my free community. So they joined my free community, and I DM'd everybody, and I posted like book a call, and I upsold people into my paid group. And I ended that month with 57K new MRR, and I ended up winning the school games, meeting Hormozy and Sam, which was pretty cool. Now, lastly, I realize now that I've spent way too much time on a few moments I manifested, so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to just talk about myself, but getting through this here. Meeting mentors. So I ended up, I watched Hamza's videos like daily for a long time, ended up joining his community, hopping on calls with him. He was like, kind of like the pinnacle of me deciding not to go to college, because I was like, I've got this confliction here. I got Paris, it's a possibility. I've got go to college. And he's like, bro, follow your fucking dreams. Don't go to college just because your parents and grandparents want you to. And I did, and that was a great decision. And it was super surreal to talk with him for like a half hour. I actually ended up meeting him maybe a year or two later in Bali and doing a workout with him. We did 2 CrossFit workouts in a row. This dude's a fucking psychopath. And then Andrew Kirby. So I know Andrew Kirby helped Hamza get onto school, and I only heard of Andrew Kirby from Hamza. So I thought he's like some celebrity guy. He does have 600K subs, but anyways. Andrew Kirby DM'd me on school because I joined his free community, and then hopped on a call with me, probably because he saw I had a bunch of subscribers, and offered to help me for free to set up my school community and launch it. And I ended up getting help and mentorship from him for free. Now I'm in his actual paid community, which he just started, which is awesome. And I talk with him all the time, and he knows who I am. But I remember years ago visualizing, like, I want to be like friends with Andrew Kirby. I want to be like in the same group of people, like, and I just like picture of it. I remember picture of it. What the fuck? I remember seeing a picture of him and Victor, which was someone he used to work with, and a bunch of people at like some mastermind event. And I just wanted to picture myself being there. And it made me nervous. And I thought it was crazy, but I was like, I'm going to fucking have friends like that one day. And it's crazy because now I do. Like, I'm friends with a bunch of entrepreneurs that make a whole bunch of money, and I met them after winning the school games, and it's crazy. This one's probably the craziest one. So Sam Ovens, Alex Hormozy, awesome, cool, whatever. I talked to Sam for like an hour. It was awesome. The way his mind works is very interesting. Eric Van Wilderman. This is probably... Sup guys, it's Kai from 30 Minutes Later. I'm in the editing process, basically editing nothing, besides that I found out that Spotify was playing while I was in these scenes where I'm in the corner, and that's because my audio was turned on and Spotify was already playing. Anyways, you don't need to know why, but I'm about to re-record this. And so essentially what I was saying is this guy I had been watching since I was like 9 years old. When I first started playing Geometry Dash, I found his channel. I thought it was fucking awesome. He did a video where he sung all of the levels because all of the levels have copyrighted music. Funny copyright. But essentially, he was like my favorite YouTuber for a long time. And when I was in the process of building Geometry Smash, which was like my gaming community, helping people get better at the game, I still have it. It's just free now. I wanted to work on the product and just make it better. I didn't want to promote it. And so I was thinking, yo, I want like somebody just to promote this video. Like I want a influencer partnership. And so I thought, like, how big can I think here? How big could I possibly think? EVW, that's the biggest I could think. Besides the owner of the game itself, I don't think I'm going to be able to integrate Geometry Smash to the game itself. So I'm going to go to the biggest influencer of the game and pitch him. And so I found this, or I wrote this giant document. I don't know if this is the full one, but I basically did a bunch of writing, showed a bunch of testimonials for my group. He ended up responding, and I basically pitched him, do you want to promote my group and get 50% of the revenue? And he said yes, and I was not expecting that at all. And he was like, yeah, bro, I've got a degree in marketing anyway, let's fucking go. And I had never like exchanged messages with him anyway. I didn't know if he was even going to respond. So this was like absurd. This was absurd. And we ended up hopping on a call, talking for like 2.5 hours, realized we're actually really similar, even though he's like got kids and is like 40. But like, yeah, that was a crazy ass experience. We didn't end up working together because he wanted to focus on his YouTube channel more. But that was an awesome experience. And then I met these guys who are cool, and yeah. Now, practical. What actually worked for me? Well, every night while I was falling asleep, so first is visualization. Every night when I was falling asleep, I'd picture my YouTube channel at my next milestone goal. And so first it'd be like 1,000 subscribers, and then 10,000, then 30,000, then 50,000, then 100,000. And often I'd be at like 15,000 subscribers, and I'm like, okay, I'm growing fucking, 5,000 a week. I'm gonna get to 30K subscribers, no shit. Now 100K is the goal. And so I'd always picture the new goal before hitting my other goal, which actually that might come up later. So every night when falling asleep, I'd picture my channel. And I just spend so much time like thinking, what would my channel look like at like 300,000 subscribers? And yeah, that shit is crazy. And when I'd have a video scheduled, I would try to feel it going viral. So I'd feel like a rise in views, just like if you were to see like a montage of like millions of people watching a video, and just like the numbers just like bam, with like some cool music. That's what I would like try to feel as my video was going to go out. That's what I tried to picture. Not just picture, but feel it. Now, thinking prompts. I also used thinking prompts. So like, what would the next version of me do? Some people say the best version. I don't know what the fucking best version of me does, but what does the next version of me do? I think the next version of me, like right now, makes 100K a month. And so now I'm like trying to operate and think as if I already do. But I remember thinking, like, what would it feel like to make 10K a month? Which is hilarious because now I make 10K a month without trying. But I remember when it felt impossible and it felt like, oh my God, anybody who makes 10K a month has fucking made it. When really, that's like barely even a livable amount of money in a lot of places in the world. Affirmations. So this one's very cringe if you do it wrong. Very cringe anyway, but I did it and it was part of the thing that led to my results. Who knows? Always while working out, and my favorite was while running. So I found that if I try to do some affirmation, I don't even know if I ever tried. I just needed some kind of intensity going on while I was doing affirmations, or it just felt like a fucking bullshit activity, waste of time. Like I'm not gonna like sit in the mirror and be like, I'm a rich guy. Like that's fucking weird, bro. But while I was running, and I wouldn't say it out loud, I'd say it in my head. So it's I am X, I make X. So I am confident, I make 10K a month. I love sales calls, I love people. And I remember before doing all of this, I wasn't all of this, and now I am, which is crazy. And I remember the day, not the day, but the month that it started feeling like, oh, this isn't a lie anymore. Like I make 10K a month. Even though it fucking was a lie, I didn't make 10K a month. But, so your intention while doing this is to repeat it until it doesn't feel like a lie. Let me explain. You know how lie detectors work? Me neither. But it seems like you get like a little shot of adrenaline or something, or a little increase in blood pressure when you lie, which is crazy. And I don't even know how that happens. But to me, when I say, like, I make $1 million a month, I get a little anxiety in my chest, like a little like, nyeh, of anxiety. But if I say, what am I going to say? I won the school games. Yeah, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it because I did. Right? Yeah, I did. Okay. And so you want to say it until it doesn't feel like a lie. And you want to feel what it internally feels like to say, I am confident. I make 10K a month. I make 100K a month. I get 10K views per video. My channel has 100,000 subscribers. And why? Why would you do this until it doesn't feel like a lie? Well, if it doesn't feel like a lie, that means your subconscious mind has accepted it as true. And so a logical explanation would be, you'll be more likely to notice leads that will make you progress. And I don't mean leads by like lead generation, business lead. I mean leads like, you know how like a detective will be like, yo, you got any leads yet? It's like a lead to the life that you want. So like an opportunity or something that will lead you to what you want. Another theoretical explanation is you'll create a constructive interference with an alternate reality's frequency and attract circumstances that will lead you to the reality materializing. So you believe whichever one you want. Pro tip, repetition and intensity will determine the speed of your results. And so intensity comes from skill, which is also built by repetition. So you can basically just delete intensity here, but I'm keeping it included. So repetition, if you're stupid, is just doing it over and over and over. So mistakes I made that slowed my growth. Where are we at? We're at 28 minutes in. Sweet. So here's the line. Anyways. Thinking I didn't have to try once it had materialized. This fucked me up. So I'd manifest and work really hard and then get what I wanted and relax. And then I'd fall behind and the pain would drive me to manifest again. And my channel growth actually like, what's up guys? It's Kai from the editing process again, here to re-record this part. And so essentially what I was showing was that my YouTube channel, I'm gonna go to it here, is reflecting the mistake I made with manifestation. And it's when I would achieve what I wanted and then stop taking action. Basically, the curse of complacency. So if I filter by lifetime, you can see my views is basically a bunch of spikes. And so this is when I first discovered shorts. I posted one short, it got like 46 million views. And then I started posting more shorts a few months later because I was like, fuck it, let's go. But this isn't normal. This should be all consistent up. But I went up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And that's because as soon as I would get 9 million views in a fucking day, I'd be like, all right, I did it. I did what I wanted to do. Now I'm going to chill out for a bit. I can chill. I'm making a few $100 per day, bro. I don't have any expenses. I'm living with my parents. I'm chilling, bro. Like, I don't need to grind my ass off. I'm gonna just manifest my way. But I wasn't manifesting because every time it went downhill and I'd be like, fuck, I'm losing progress, the pain would motivate me to start manifesting again. And I would manifest and I would work hard and I would get a video to go viral again and then it would go down. And I was just not consistent. And so that was a big problem that I had. And now we're going to talk about the next thing. Bye. Another mistake was thinking that manifestation has not contributed to my success. So I basically changed my mind about that. So after winning the school games, I reflected on how much fucking insane amount of work it was and how intensely hard the work was. That sounds fucking sus. That sounds very sus. How intensely hard. Okay. And this was also my peak of listening to Alex Hormozi, who is anti-manifestation. And so I started thinking very logically. I started thinking in a cause and effect mindset and ignored the mental. And don't get me wrong, you need to understand cause and effect if you want to win at business, at YouTube, at life in general. Like, this is a law of the universe. But if you only think this way, then to me, life loses its zest. It gets very fucking boring. So I became pretty depressed for about a year because I stopped manifesting and I stopped getting results. I lost all the revenue I had built when winning the school games, and I just stopped getting sales, and I started doing less and less work, and I couldn't stay consistent. And here's a funny little graph thing I made. So at the beginning, you think manifestation is everything. Then when you find some success and get really into it, and you're like, fuck, manifestation doesn't work. And then after a while, it's just like, I actually did manifest that, now that I think about that. So now here are my current thoughts on manifestation. And here's an onion that looks cool for some reason. Is it real? Yes. Does it work? Yes. Is it required for success? No. That was kind of a bar. Write that down. So the mistake people make is either thinking that they only need manifestation and don't have to match it with action, or thinking that they only need action and they won't consider anything they can't see or touch. And so yes, you can win with action. Definitely. But another mistake people make is like, you can not consider manifestation and still manifest. Like, you think Alex Hormozi didn't manifest that $100 million launch? Bro, Alex Hormozi doesn't even think he manifested that $100 million launch, because he did the math on how much work he would need to do, how many ads he would need to make, how much content he would need to make, how many signups he would need to get, how much he would need to spend on ads to be able to make $100 million. But he believed that he would be able to do it the entire time. The problem a lot of people have is they don't believe it. They don't believe in themselves. They don't believe in the process. And then they try to just fucking force it. And it just doesn't work. So the placebo effect is already studied, proven, and accepted. We know that our mind alone can affect our body in ways that science does not understand or could not predict. People think that, like, air is inside of a bubble, we are inside of the universe. But air and a bubble are two different things. But the universe is all space and matter. That is the definition. The universe is all space and matter, which includes all space and matter, which includes everything, which includes us. And so we are not inside the universe. That is a misunderstanding of what the universe is and what we are. So religious beliefs aside. Scientifically, we are not inside the universe. We quite literally are the universe. And so we're made up of the same exact stuff. So we've got atoms, and atoms are made up of subatomic particles. And then when we're not observing those particles, they appear as waves. That's crazy. We're not getting into that today. But why would our mind only be able to perform miracles on our body and not the world around us? Scientists, fuck off. I'm trying to be cool here. So our mind can trick our body into thinking we're hot while we're sitting in snow. Wim Hof and some monks, I think, have proved this. Where they can sit in snow and literally, you could test their temperature and it seems like they have a fever. And it's because they're envisioning and meditating, like sitting by fire. And they'll literally start sweating while they're outside in snow, where other people would literally die from freezing. Our mind can trick our body into feeling rich while we're not. And so whether our mind affects reality or not doesn't really matter to me, because to me, it works either way. And so whether you like the logical explanation of, it's just cause and effect, or the theoretical explanation of like we're attracting and harmonizing with different wavelengths from an infinite multiverse, or whatever you want to believe, I found that it works for me, and I would recommend trying it for you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This was quite a different one. I don't think I'll make a video on manifestation in a while, or for a while. So anyways, watch that video if you want to blow up your channel. Bye.